Hey guys, how's it going today? Hope you guys are having an awesome day today. Today we are going to get to advanced oil processing. Now, we are looking at getting into space, of course, and to do that, we need to launch our first rocket. But to do that, we have a few things that we need to do beforehand. So the first thing is we're going to need things like big electric motors that take lubricant, and we are, of course, going to need rocket fuel, which is not on this page. Here it is. We're going to need solid rocket fuel, which is going to take light oil. And then we are also going to need batteries, which take sulfuric acid, which I guess we already have. And yeah, so I guess it's mostly just for the lubricant and for the solid rocket fuel, but we do need those things. So there are two different ways that we can go about this. One is doing advanced oil processing, where we only get 20 heavy oil, 70 light, and 30 petroleum. Or we can do this, where we get 70 heavy, 30 light, and 20 petroleum. This one we really are not going to do right now. We aren't short on water for any reason, and we definitely want the higher petroleum count that this offers. So that's what we're going to go with. And today we're also going to show you kind of how you can use circuits to manage your fluids and making sure that you have all of the necessary fluids left over, so you're not using up all of your heavy and light oil when you're doing cracking. So we will be going over all of that. So first off, let's switch all of these to the advanced oil processing. Alright, so as you can see now, we are producing all three. And let's just hook up the pipes. Let's see, this one's three. Okay, there we go. And I did add some more refineries here. I thought that we definitely will, we're definitely going to use all of the oil that we're making. So that's that. We also have some tanks here. So we are going to throw these tanks down, I think, like this. And maybe not like that. Can I do this? I can, but I can't fit this one in. So I think that we're actually going to put light oil like over here. It's kind of weird, but I really want to put it. Oh, we can put it like this. Okay, so that's light oil. Okay, and let's fix the power issue. Okay, so here we go. We got heavy and light oil, and I put it in the one spot that I couldn't have it. And then we're going to put down our cracking over here. We're not going to do exact ratios for this. I do like ratios in some things. Oil is very hard to calculate, especially like, the ratios aren't exact. Let's see, this produces like 70 light oil. This takes 30 light oil, 40 heavy. This makes 20 heavy. So we're just going to make an estimation, an approximation. And then we'll keep an eye on our fluid levels, and if we're seeing that we have way too much light oil and we're not able to process it all, we'll fix that up. So let's do. Actually, we probably don't need 4 of these. We probably just need 3 for heavy oil cracking. So we're gonna do heavy oil cracking first, and our water is gonna come in here. Okay, and then our heavy oil is going to come in here. Now, with heavy oil cracking, there is one issue, which is the fact that we want to make lubricant as well, right? So I was saying that this big electric motor is going to take lubricant. Well, we need lubricant. So before we start cracking our heavy oil into light oil, we want to make sure that we have some lubricant. So if we look at this, it only takes heavy oil, right? So we don't want to use all of our heavy oil for cracking. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up oops, we're gonna set up 2 plants here, and we're gonna move just a little bit. We're gonna set up lubricant. Also, let's start a research here. We're just idling. I did do a couple researches. So we now have worker robots and construction robots. And then we also finished all of the researches for the rocket silo. So we got the lubricant, you know, the big electric motor, all of these, the heat shielding, etc. So I did finish all of that as I was doing some work off camera, like increasing our copper production, both with mines and with smelters, and increasing our coke production. And then I also, what else did I do? Oh yeah, I increased glass production. We were running low on glass. And I went and got some more, I went and fought some more biters. So that's what happened off camera. But anyways, so here we go. We are gonna make lube. And I think that we'll have to back it off 1. There we go. Okay, so here's where we're going to utilize a pump and some logic, because we definitely want to make sure that we have some lubricant. So we're going to grab our lube. And this is, we can put lube right here. Let's see. If I put this tank here, tanks are weird, man. Like the way that they rotate and stuff like that. You know what? This is fine, right? Right here. Okay. So we're gonna go like this. No, we can't do that. Because that'll line up with this petroleum, which we don't want to do. Okay. So heavy oil is going to go here. Okay, so let's just do this real fast so we know where heavy oil is. So heavy oil is here. Okay. And this water is super inconvenient. But okay. So there we go. I think we'll do this. Right? It can... Oh no. Can't put it here because of the sulfuric acid. We can put it here. Okay, so we're just gonna make this work. Okay, so there's our heavy oil. Okay, and we're gonna hook up. Now, if you don't know anything about combinators and logic circuits, that's totally fine. Just a quick overview. The red wires and the green wires, you might wonder, which should I use? It doesn't matter. You can kind of think of it as 2 different channels. So there are red signals, there are green signals. It doesn't matter what you're using, but it does matter. You have to make sure that for whatever set of logic you're trying to figure out, that you use the same color. So, you know, I can't connect red to my tank here, or, you know, green to my tank and connect it over. And then like connect red from here to my pump and be able to read the signal. That's not how it works. So when we connect our green wire to this tank here, you can mouse over a power pole and you can see that it's outputting a green signal. Now if you did the same with a red, you can see that it's outputting a red signal as well. So whenever you hook, excuse me, whenever you hook these wires up to combinators and things like that, it will read both red and green, but you need to make sure that you're looking at the right values, because sometimes the green values and red values could be different. Like if I had a second tank that had like a different amount of lube in it, and the red was on that and the green was on the other, it would have 2 different values for the same thing, like 2 different values for lube. So you do have to be a little careful. But we're just going to use green here, it doesn't matter. And we're going to hook it up to the pump. Okay, we don't need to do anything fancy. We don't need, you know, fancy combinators or anything here. Later on you can get fancy and do cool things with it, but right now you see that the mode of operation is enable or disable. And right now, the enabled condition is nothing is less than 0. So that is false, because it can't be true. So what we want to look at is we want to come over to fluids, and we want to look at lubricant. Okay, and so again, you know, how much lubricant do we want? We don't need a ton of lubricant, right? Like right now, this is pretty much the only thing that needs lubricant. And, you know, eventually there will be a few other things, but we don't need 25,000 lubricant. We only need, you know, 5,000 lubricant, let's say, okay? And we can change this number later if we feel like we need to. But we're trying to figure out, is it enabled, or when is it enabled? So we want to start cracking heavy oil into light oil when we reach 5,000 lubricant, okay? So we can just change this constant number here to, well, we don't want less than, we want greater than. Okay, so when the amount of lubricant is greater than a constant number of 5,000, then this pump will be enabled. And you'll see that happen here very shortly, hopefully. And then we can connect that up. These are working not because this is, but because there's probably like a little bit of oil there. But as soon as this pump, and we can keep our mouse here to watch how much lube there is. As soon as this reaches 5,000, our pump will start working. And so that'll keep the level of lubricant in our tank at 5,000. And there you go. You can see that it's working. Starting to pump heavy oil down into the cracking machines. So we will grab our light oil from those. And light oil is here. There we go, that's light oil. Okay, now, we do need light oil. As I mentioned earlier, solid rocket fuel uses light oil, and it can use quite a bit. Like 1 rocket fuel is 100 light oil. So we definitely want a lot of light oil. We don't want to crack all of our light oil into petroleum. We do want to crack some. Excuse me. So petroleum is always going to be our biggest use, our biggest cost. It's used in sulfur, it's used in sulfuric acid, it's used in plastic, which we're going to make a lot of plastic. So petroleum is, of course, used the most. Okay. So we can do a couple things. One of the things you can do is just do exactly what we just did here for the light oil. And you can make sure that it's above a certain level. That's totally fine. We are going to do something a little bit more complicated. Not super complicated, but a little bit. We are going to compare the petroleum tank and the light oil tank to determine whether or not we should be cracking light oil. We always want to have some petroleum. If we're running low on petroleum, we want to crack our light oil, even if that means we're going to start running low on light oil. So let's set up some machines over here. We don't need too many right now. We'll set up some more later. But these are going to do light oil cracking into petroleum. Okay. And let's see. There we go. Okay. Let's actually clear this so you can see it work. So we're gonna put a pump up, okay? And we need to connect our wires. So we need to look at light oil, and we need to look at petroleum, okay? So you can see here that we have 48,000 petroleum and 24,000 light oil, okay? So we are going to grab 2 decider combinators, okay? These combinators are what is going to determine whether or not we should start our pump. So we can connect the output of these to the pump, okay? And then we can connect the input of these to our pole, Okay, so you can see here that the input signals, we have 47,000 petroleum, 24,000 light oil as expected on both of them. Okay, and so our condition, so for the petroleum part, right, we don't want to run low on petroleum. So if petroleum is less than, let's say, 5,000, okay, so if the amount of petroleum gets under 5,000, we want to start cracking, okay? And then this one is for the light oil. If the light oil, right, so we want, so that's if the petroleum is low. Now we want if the amount of light oil is less than, let's say, So the other condition that we want is we want to make sure that we are keeping some light oil. So we want light oil to be above let's say 20,000. Okay. If it gets greater than 20,000, we will enable. Okay. And we'll output. I like to, now you might have seen me put some green signals here. I like to do green signals because with green, like this is always like my go, you should start working, right? And since we're looking for enabled, we want to do green. And later on when we get to complicated circuits with rockets, I'll use green signals to do everything. So green signals mean go, and then the other things will, you know, there might be other times we use different kinds of signals, but green signals are what I like to use. Okay, so basically we want to start cracking when, what is this? When one of these is true, okay? If neither of them are true, right? Let's say we have a lot of petroleum and only a little bit of light oil, we definitely don't want to be cracking, okay? Right now we have a decent amount of light oil and we have a lot of petroleum. So we want to enable when one of these outputs is true, okay? So what that means is we're going to say equal to, and we're going to say, or sorry, greater than or equal to, okay? We don't want it when it's exactly one of these. We want it when it's one or both of them is true, okay? So that's why you say greater than or equal to. So we say green is greater than or equal to, which means that the output of these, at least one of them is green. And we change this to 1. And you can see here that it's enabled, okay? I hope that made sense. I'm trying to explain it as best I can, but now we'll start, we would start cracking some, ooh, I need to put these here. Okay. Okay, there we go. And this, again, is light oil cracking. And we need water here. And this is where fluids get messy. Okay, and we got water. Okay, fantastic. And there we go. And so then we just, our last task is to hook up petroleum here to our output. Okay. And this tank is perfectly in the way. I think what we're about to do is try and move this tank. So we need some iron, which we have right here. Nice. I really don't want to do like weird, like to the side and then over again. That just makes for complications later. So we're going to try and move this storage tank. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this tank here. We're going to grab a pump. Oh, not like this. Yes, like this. Okay. And we're just going to pump it from one to the other, because I'd rather not waste 25,000 sulfuric acid. Okay. Okay, there we go. And now we can pull our petroleum in. Boom. Okay, perfect. So we've got our petroleum now. We've got all of our cracking and everything set up, and I just need to hook this up. There we go. So those are working now, and we can probably add 2 more. And we've got all of our levels managed, right? So, you know, we don't really care about keeping heavy oil around. We don't need it for anything. So we're just going to convert all the heavy oil into the different products that we need. And of course, we'll throw down some more refineries over here in the future, but right now, no need. We're not, you know, we're not using insane amounts of products. We're just using a little bit. Okay, there we go. Oh no, we're out of underground pipes. I don't know how that happened. That's kind of weird. We used an odd number, which is always worrying to me, but okay. I don't know where we used the other odd one. That's kind of weird, but whatever. Okay. There we go. Everything's working. Everything's looking good. I'll probably find that weird one pipe, like, in the future. I don't see it anywhere. It's really going to bother me. That's okay. All right. So that is heavy oil, and we're all done with that. So I think we're going to call it there. There's kind of a different kind of episode. You know, we're not doing a whole lot. We're just learning about some circuits, which those circuits are going to be super important later, because everything that happens in terms of going to space and doing science later at all is going to require using rockets, and we want to automate those rockets. We don't want to have to do that manually all the time, because that can become a lot to handle. So you want to automate everything. I mean, this is Factorio. We're trying to automate things and make life easy for ourselves. So we're going to have to use a lot of circuits to determine when we want to launch rockets and when we want to keep them on the ground still and wait. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope you learned something as well. Thank you guys for coming out, and I hope you have a great day today.